They came from the shadows of history, a nomadic force that would reshape the map of Europe. The Huns, a name that became synonymous with terror and the absolute destruction of empires. Historians believe they were the descendants of the Xiongnu, warriors defeated by China who fled toward the setting sun. A people of the horse, they practiced artificial cranial deformation, marking their elite with elongated skulls. Around 370 AD, they crossed the Volga, triggering a domino effect of migrations that would doom the West. Their pressure forced thousands of Goths to seek refuge in Rome, leading to the catastrophic defeat at Adrianople. Early kings like Uldan and Rugila transitioned the Huns from raiding bands into a centralized power. In 434, the brothers Attila and Bleda became co-rulers, demanding staggering tributes from Rome. They extorted thousands of pounds of gold, tripling their annual tribute as the Eastern Empire trembled. In 445, Attila became the sole king of the Huns. To the Romans, he was Flagellum Dei, the Scourge of God. He was described as short and broad-chested, possessing a gaze that enjoyed the terror it inspired. Despite his wealth, Attila lived modestly, eating from wooden plates while his guests feasted on silver. The focus shifted west when a Roman princess, Honoria, sent Attila a ring, a plea for help he saw as a proposal. Demanding half the empire as a dowry, Attila led a massive coalition across the Rhine into the heart of Gaul. In 451, at the Battle of Chalons, Attila faced a desperate coalition of Romans and Visigoths. It was one of history's bloodiest clashes. Attila was forced to retreat, suffering his first and only defeat. Regrouping, Attila invaded Italy in 452, razing cities so thoroughly their locations were lost for centuries. Panic-stricken residents fled to the lagoons of the Adriatic, an event that led to the founding of Venice. At the Mincio River, Pope Leo III met the conqueror. Miraculously, Attila withdrew his army from Italy. In 453, on the night of his wedding to Ildiko, the Scourge of God met an unexpected end. He suffered a massive hemorrhage, choking on his own blood. He was buried in a secret, triple coffin. To ensure his resting place remained a mystery, every laborer who dug his grave was executed. Without his singular authority, Attila's sons turned on each other, tearing the Hunnic Empire apart. In 454, at the Battle of Nidau, their Germanic subjects revolted, dealing the Huns a decisive blow. By 469, the Huns ceased to exist as a political entity, their remnants absorbed into new steppe groups. They revolutionized warfare with the Parthian shot, firing accurately while in full retreat. While they never took Rome, their pressure forced the empire to bankrupt its treasury and collapse. Attila remains a figure of myth and legend, a warrior who brought the world's greatest empire to its knees. The Huns were a storm that passed quickly, but the world was never the same in its wake. Thank you for watching the rise and fall of the Huns. Their legacy of blood and iron remains. Beyond the battlefield, the Huns were a highly adaptable people, living in complex nomadic societies. Their metallurgy and weapon-making were far more advanced than the Romans initially believed. They controlled key sections of the Silk Road, extracting wealth from trade routes connecting east and west. Their courts were international hubs, attracting scholars, poets, and diplomats from across the continent. The gold they extracted funded a military machine that no wall could truly hold back. From childhood, they were raised in the saddle, becoming the most elite light cavalry of their age. Their intelligence networks were vast, always one step ahead of the slow-moving Roman legions. Treaties were merely tools for Attila, signed when convenient and broken when the gold stopped flowing. Unusual for nomads, they mastered siege warfare, using engineers to breach the strongest Roman fortifications. Thousands of Huns also served as mercenaries for Rome, learning the very tactics they would eventually overcome. They were the ultimate predators of the late antiquity, shadows that struck with lethal precision. Today, only fragments of their physical world remain, but their impact on human history is eternal. The storm of the Huns may have passed, but the echoes of their conquest still ring through the ages.